Dear students, in this video, we will discuss about some activities by which we come to know that sound is produced by a vibrating body. And later, we will discuss about the different vibrating part of different musical instrument. Like in previous classes, we have discussed about how the sound is produced by a vibrating body. In that context, we have learned about an activity from which we come to know that sound is produced by a vibrating body. In that case, what we were taking, in that case, we have taken a pan which is suspended by a string. And when we strike that pan with the help of a stick, then some vibrations are created into that pan and sound is produced. As soon as we tightly hold this, pan, then the vibrations are vanished. So what is the reason why this pan is vibrated? Because as we are doing some kind of effort on this pan, then only that pan is produced the sound. As soon as we are not striking that pan, or when the vibrations are generated into that pan and we tightly hold that pan, then the vibrations are vanished. So we can say that the sound is only produced when there is a vibrating body. In that context, if we will move on to the next activity, that is the activity number 13.2. In that activity, what the material we require to perform that activity, we are required some pencils. We require the two pencils, a geometry box, and there is a rubber band is required. Now what we are going to do in that activity? In this activity, we are just stretching a rubber band around the geometry box. What we are going to do? We are just stretched a rubber band or wrapping a rubber band around the geometry box. After that, we are fixing these two pencils. As I showed to you, we are fixing these two pencils. Then what we are going to do in that case? We just try to pull the rubber band. What we are going to do? We are just try to pull the rubber band. As we release the rubber band, then rubber band strike the geometry box. This rubber band is strike the geometry box. As we are plucking this rubber band, then and when we release, then it will strike on the geometry box and it get vibrated. As it get vibrated, then a sound is produced. So in that case also, you can see that when we are doing effort, like in a form of where in a previous case, how we are doing the effort? By beating the pan. Here what we are doing? We are just plucking. That means there is a stretched rubber band, and with the help of that we are striking on a geometry box. In both the cases, either we are beating with a stick or plucking with a rubber band, we are able to produce the sound. That means with the help of that effort, beating or plucking, we are doing some work on the geometry box or a pen, and then only the body get vibrated, and in that case the sound is produced. So from both these activity, we can come to know that sound is only produced by a vibrating body. Now what is the definition of vibrations? How we can define the vibration? In your previous class, you have learned about the simple pendulum. If you have just gone through in your previous class, then there is an instrument is called the pendulum, which is known to be as a simple pendulum. Chapter number 13, motion and time of class 7, there you have find out there is a simple pendulum. And how the simple pendulum is look like, I will show to you. A simple pendulum is nothing but it is a metallic ball which is suspended by a string. This is the structure of a simple pendulum. And the movement of the simple pendulum, if we are consider from there then we have got this type of movement. If we are taking that simple pendulum particular point, suppose this is a point number A, and if we release it, then the simple pendulum is doing a motion, and the motion which the simple pendulum is doing, that motion of the simple pendulum is known to be as a to and fro motion. This is called the to and fro motion. This is A point, this is O point, and it is B point. When pendulum is moving from A to B, then it is called to, and when it is again come back from B to A, then this is called the fro. So a simple pendulum is moving as a to and fro motion. If you are going through the another example in which what we are going to do, I will explain to you that suppose if you are taking a spring, this is suppose you are taking a spring and it is attached with a block, and if you are just compress this block, then what will happen? The spring get compressed, and as soon as you just release it, then this block is doing the motion, that is it's compressed and extend, compress and expand, compress and expand. This compressing and expanding of this spring is known to be the back and forth motion. What we call that? It is called the back and forth motion. So how we are able to know? So this is the back and forth motion. So what is a vibration? So from these examples, we can define the definition of vibrations, as it is indicating here in a bold letters, vibration. So how we are able to define the vibration? Vibrations are nothing but the to and fro or back and forth motion of an object is called the vibration. In other words, we will say that the to and fro or back and forth motion of a vibrating object. I'm including a extra word here, that is called vibrating object. Okay, so the to and fro or back and forth motion in a vibrating object or a vibrating body is there, then that is known to be as a vibration. In both the cases, either we are taking a geometry box stretched with a rubber band, or we are taking a pen striking with a stick. In both the cases, the vibrations are produced. So we can say that vibrations are nothing but the to and fro or back and forth motion of a vibrating body is called the vibration. In both the cases, either in a pan strike with a stick or a stretch rubber band on a geometry box, in both the cases sound vibrations are produced, and when we try to stop the vibrations, then it does not produce any type of sound. So from all this discussion, we can conclude in 2 lines that sound is produced by a vibrating body, and when there is a vibrating body is there, then the vibrations are always into the vibrating body. And in second point, we can define that vibrations are nothing but they are to and fro or back and forth motion of the vibrating body or vibrating object, which we consider as vibrations. Now we will move on to the next slide and we try to learn out the next activity. The next activity which you have given, it is activity 13.3. So what we are going to do in that activity and what we required in that activity? We are required a metal dish. Here in that picture, if you are going to see that this is a metal dish, that is your metal dish. We have required a spoon. There you can see there is a spoon we have required, and we have required a little bit of water in it. There you can see there is a little bit of water. So in that case, in this activity, we have required 3 materials. One is metal dish. We required a little bit of water and we required a spoon. Now what we are going to do in that activity? First of all, we have been taken the metal dish, and metal dish we have taken, and after that we are pouring some water in it. Okay, we are taking the metal dish, after that we are pouring some water in it. That means it is filled with the water. Here you can see there is a water filled in this metal dish, and after that what we are going to do, we are taking the spoon, and like in that picture shows to you, a spoon we have taken, and when we are just try to touch that spoon, suppose we are not striking that spoon on this edge of metal dish, we are just putting the spoon on the edges of this metal dish, then the question has asked to you, can you feel the dish vibrating? If we are just taking the spoon and try to touch it, that means we have taken this, there you can see there is a spoon, and we just try to touch the edges of this metal dish. So the question has been asked to us that, can you feel dish vibrating? So the answer is, we are not feeling any kind of vibrations are there, because in that case we are not doing any kind of effort. Effort means that we are not striking the edge with some effort. So we are not supposed to hear any kind of vibrations in it. But what we are going to do in the next part, we will do in the next part that we are taking the spoon, but this time what we are going to do, we are just striking the edge of this metal dish. What we are going to do in that second case, we are taking that spoon and we are just hammering at the edges of the metal dish with the help of this spoon. When we are striking the spoon on the edges of metal dish, so what we will see, that some vibrations are created, and that vibration is visible in this water wave. That means some vibrations are visible in this water. That means when we are striking it with the help of spoon, then some vibrations are created, and then that vibration can be visualized at the surface of the water. That means there is some disturbance is created into that water. When we are not striking that metal dish, then there is no disturbance has been seen on this surface of the water. But as soon as we striking with the help of the spoon, then some vibrations are generated, and these vibration can be easily visible at the surface of the water. What change do you observe on the surface of the water? That means what kind of change we will see? We will see that there are some vibrations or disturbance are created at the surface of the water. If you are just visualize this, when we are striking this, then this kind of vibrations has been seen on the surface of the water. Sometimes you can also see that when we are just throwing a stone on a surface of the water, then you can see that there are some circular waves are created on the surface of the water. Similar kind of waves is also generated on the surface of the water which we are pouring in this metal dish. So from all this, what we are concluding this, that we see that a vibrating object produces sound. In some cases the vibrations are easily visible to us, but in most cases the vibrations are not visible. We cannot see the vibrations. Why? There is a terminology or a term we will use, that is called the amplitude. We will discuss later about this, what is the amplitude, Amplitude is nothing but it is the maximum displacement of a vibrating body from its original position, that is known to be the amplitude. If I'm in simple word try to define what is an amplitude, then again we will take the example of simple pendulum. This is your simple pendulum. I'm stating that what is the definition of amplitude. So amplitude is nothing but the maximum displacement of a vibrating body from its original position. If you can see, this is your original position of a simple pendulum. If I'm taking suppose a particular height, then this distance which I'm indicating by this arrow, this distance is known to be as amplitude. This distance is known to be as the amplitude. That means the distance from its maximum distance from its original position is said to be the amplitude. So a vibrating body always have some kind of amplitude. A body which is vibrating, then it produces some vibrations, and if it is producing the vibrations, then there is a amplitude is always there. So we can say that every vibrating body or object produce sound. In some cases it is visible to us, and in most of the cases it cannot be visible to us. The answer for that why we are not or we cannot see, the answer is the amplitude. In some cases some vibrating object has more amplitude, and in some cases the vibrating object has a small amplitude. That's why it is not visible. In our case, in activity 13.3, what is the basic purpose of this activity? The conclusion from this activity that we can see that sound is produced by a vibrating body, and how the vibrations are look like, that can be visualized with this activity. That when there is a vibrations, then there is visualization of vibrations are there. So that is the basic thing we have learned, that sound is produced by a vibrating body, and in some cases vibration can be visible, and in most of the cases the vibrations are not visible. In that case, in 13.3 activity, we are easily able to see that how the vibrations are created into water when we striking with the help of a spoon. Now if we want to summarize this, all these discussion which we have given, if we just want to summarize, here you can see that sound is a form of energy produced by a vibration. That means sound is a form of energy. Energy means that sound is also a type of energy. When we are doing some kind of work on any object, like striking a pen with a stick, or stretching the rubber band on a geometry box, or in 13.3 activity when we are striking the metal dish edge with the help of spoon, in all the cases we are doing some effort. Then, and when we are doing some kind of effort, then we are doing some kind of work on it, and doing the rate of doing work is nothing but it is known to be as a energy. So we can say that sound is a form of energy produced by the vibration. That is, we already learned. Sounds play an important part in our daily life. It helps us to communicate with each other. We hear a wide variety of sound in our surrounding. Sound is produced by a vibrating body. Again, there is summarizing up that sound is produced by the vibrating body. Then what is vibration? Vibration is the to and fro or back and forth motion of an object. This is the definition of vibration has given to us. There are some examples as given to us. The first example we have given, if you strike a school bell, it vibrates and produces the sound. Second has given to you, if you pluck a stretched rubber band, it vibrates and produces the sound. Third picture, a boy tried to beat a drum. It stretched membrane vibrate and produce the sound. If you blow a biggle. If you are in fourth picture, if you have seen, there is a biggle has shown to you. If you blow a biggle, the air column vibrate and produce the sound. So from all these example, we can conclude that sound is a form of energy which is produced by vibration. Vibration is the to and fro or back and forth motion of an object. And last is that the sound is produced by vibrating body. I hope all you understand this. Thank you very much.